Hey everyone, this is Urban Al from downtown Miami. Today I'm going to make a spicy, creamy Cajun chicken pasta. This shouldn't take more than 30 minutes to prep everything, including the vegetables and chopping and everything. So I did pre-wash the peppers and the onions and have the chicken breast there. I'm going to cut those. I'm going to start the water for the pasta, because that probably will take the full 20 minutes. So you want a pot of water, add salt, both flavor and to bring the temperature of the water up. The density is increased, and so it boils at a higher temperature, makes the pasta cook faster. A little olive oil. The olive oil breaks the surface tension on the water, and so the pasta won't boil over. So while that's heating up, I took the chicken breasts out of the freezer yesterday and left it in the refrigerator, but they're not fully thawed. So I'm gonna cut those into slices now, and it should thaw out once it's cut thinly, and then we'll see how it goes with that. So I'm gonna cut it into equal thin slices. These are more diced. I'm gonna cut this in half. About maybe 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch wide slices. The good thing about semi-frozen chicken is that it's a lot easier to cut and make your cuts more even. These look pretty good. Some of these are maybe too tall. I'm going to cut the height in half. I'll make sure those are kind of spread out so they get a little bit of room warmth. You don't want the chicken to be fully frozen through, because the last thing you want is the center of the chicken to not cook. Uncooked chicken is a big problem. I'll let those sit there for a little while. In the meantime, you don't want to use the same cutting board. Anything you use with the raw chicken, you don't want to contaminate your vegetables and everything. Chicken needs to cook properly. So I'm going to wash my hands. I'm not going to use the same knife. Soap and water. No need to use antibacterial soaps. It's just a waste of time, and it promotes resistant bacteria. Just don't mix the raw poultry, raw chicken with any of your other foods. I'm gonna also prep some mushrooms that are gonna go into the chicken pasta. Don't wash the mushrooms with water. They contain already a lot of water. They're over 80% water. And if you wash them, they'll just absorb more water. So I'm gonna chop those different knife. I'm a little, I don't want this to take more than 30 minutes as promised, otherwise I'll lose my credibility here in Miami. Another thing, maybe a tip here is that I'm gonna cook first, saute the mushrooms separately in butter. Like I said, they are 80% water. So I'm going to put a large pan for the mushrooms on kind of medium-high heat. Cook those separately first before adding other vegetables and chicken to get the water out. Use real butter for cooking. Don't use margarine. Margarine is very unhealthy. Butter gives you great taste and it's healthy. Let that pan heat up. I'm gonna, these are kind of, I don't know what these are called, but they're these thin, narrow, small peppers. So I'm not gonna cut them in chunks, I'm gonna cut them in rings. If you get a big bell pepper, like green, use one green pepper and one red. Cut them in squares approximately. I'm going to take out the seeds and that membrane thing inside. It'll come out some more when you make the rings. I already feel like with this prep time, it's going to take me more than 30 minutes to prep and cook, but let's see. Of course, I won't make the whole video last for 30 minutes. I'm going to cut those into rings. The mushrooms were maybe 4 good size mushrooms. I can hear the butter behind me. Then let that burn. You want to use a wide open frying pan for the mushrooms so that they can, all that water can evaporate without boiling the mushrooms. And scallions, I'm going to chop those, take the, kind of limp green stuff off. The scallions are both decorative and tasty. You don't have to saute scallions first like you do with regular onions. They're sweet already. onions are done. So in a previous related video, I made Cajun seasoning. I'm gonna sprinkle that on the chicken. About, I don't know, 2 teaspoons or so. Mix that all in so that it's all over the chicken. Chicken's so cold, but shouldn't be too frozen there. So I heat up a larger pan. I'm gonna wait a little bit because the water hasn't boiled yet. So let me turn that off for a second. I'm gonna use a combination of olive oil and butter. Olive oil is healthier, so but the butter is definitely, you want that for the flavor, and it's also not unhealthy unless you eat too much of it. Okay, so the water for the pasta is starting to boil. I'm going to put the pasta in. I have not cooked the chicken yet. It should be done at about the same time if I do it this way. Cajun pasta, a lot of times it's with linguine, but we're going to fancy it up by using bow tie pasta. And if you want to be even more fancy, you can call it farfalle. There's about for 2 people, and if you have leftovers, that's even better. Probably tastes better the second day. So now I'm gonna heat up the olive oil and butter for the chicken. I did mention I use alcohol in cooking, so I'm gonna use a little bit of brandy, and I have a Campo Viejo Spanish Rioja, which is great. Again, measurements are not that critical. It's about, what, 8 ounces, I think, of red wine, in this case, Rioja. And this is a pretty cheap French brandy. I've drank it, it's Royal, Reynal, but it's not that good to just drink normally like a straight brandy, so I use it for cooking mostly. So my butter here was starting to burn. You do want it hot so that the chicken sautés and doesn't really, you don't want it to boil in water, you know? You don't want it to poach. You want it to really brown and saute. So make sure the heat is high enough and you have a large enough pan that it's not going to, just the water won't come out and sit and everything boils. So cook the chicken, saute like that for about 5 minutes or 5 to 7 minutes. I'm going to probably go with about 6 minutes because it still is a little bit on the frozen side in the middle. It is going to cook a little more in the sauce, so don't worry about that. Generally speaking, you want to cook chicken until the juice comes out, but the juice is clear, not pink. You don't want to cook it until no juice comes out. That's just dry shoe leather chicken. So don't overcook the chicken, but certainly be careful and don't undercook it either. The juice needs to be clear. If you pierce a piece of chicken or you press on it with a fork, you'll see the juice ooze out a bit, and if it's clear, then you're good. If it's still pink, then cook it a little longer. The other thing about urban cooking is that, kitchens are smaller, smells stay in the apartment. Use your air filters and hood. This has carbon filters. So I think that chicken is pretty well along. I'm going to add the vegetables. Add the onions first, or scallions. And the peppers. You want to saute those a little bit. You don't necessarily want to overcook the vegetables. A little bit of crunchiness is good. And add the mushrooms. Peppers are just starting to get a little bit soft, so I think that's ready. I'm going to add about a cup and a half of heavy cream. Again, measurements are not super critical. Add as much cream as you want. Add some salt and pepper. Remember that the Cajun seasoning had salt and pepper, but now you got the cream and vegetables, so you may need a little more. Lower the heat. You only want that to simmer. Once it starts boiling, that's great. You want to get it started. Then lower the heat so it simmers. I'm gonna add the brandy. It's like maybe, I don't know, a tablespoon about. It's just for the flavor. The wine. Let that simmer some more, maybe a little lower in heat. You want to let it simmer and reduce down a little bit, so it's not. It depends how much cream you put in there. Pasta's not ready yet. So let me tell you a little bit about this Campo Viejo Rioja. It's nice. Rioja is Spanish wine, and this particular Campo Viejo is 2013 Reserva, 2013. I get it at BJ's Wholesale for about $12 a bottle. Sometimes they have it on sale for $2 off. When it's on sale, you pick up 6 bottles or whatever you want, and hold on to it, drink it little by little, and then once, you know, I'll try some other wines with you too on other occasions, but always look for the good deals. So I'm gonna let that simmer down a little bit and let the pasta be done, and I'll be back in a second. You know, I forgot about the basil, to put that into the chicken. So you can use dry basil, but I have a basil plant I maintain here in the kitchen. Smells delicious. This fresh basil is awesome. Chop it up a bit. I use it to make a bourbon basil smash. Of course, Italian food, a lot of that has basil in it. Nothing like fresh basil. So. Put that into the chicken. Some knife tips. Use your knuckles to guide the knife, but also when you're scraping stuff around on your board, flip your knife over. You know, it's very easy. Flip it over, you don't ruin the sharpness on your knife. I used up all the wine. Again, don't worry about the exact measurements. That looks maybe 6 ounces. We're going to also put some fresh grated Parmesan cheese on the pasta once it's done. So some fresh grated Parmesan. The dish really only took as long as it took to cook the pasta. I don't know, bow tie, farfalle, maybe took a little longer. If you're using probably thin spaghetti, might not take as long. But that's it, it's plated. Cheers.